So hey there everybody, and welcome to the channel. As always, thanks for stopping by and hanging out for a few. My name is Rich Charpentier, and usually we're covering drone topics, imaging topics, and practical applications for your drones and building a drone business. Today, I wanted to take a look at some 360s again. I am enjoying them a lot. I wanted to share some things with you and show you a couple of things today that I've been discovering recently, thanks to some of the questions and comments on this channel. So keep those questions and comments coming, and when I've got time, I'll make sure that we do some videos for you on your topics. But today, we were back on the house hunt again. If you're a regular subscriber here, you know that we're in the middle of a transition, and we got to find a new rental house. We might have found one today. And I brought the Theta Z1 along with me to get some shots in there so that I could take a look at it afterward and have a little fun and do this video for you. So number one, we used one of the basic modes on Ricoh's Theta Z1. We used their automatic HDR mode. So in that automatic HDR mode, you're going to be getting a JPEG as the final item, and your JPEGs are going to look something like this. So before we get into any of the unique and odd things, I just kind of want to get through this home. This was a small home, 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath style thing. Very interesting looking, an upstairs and a downstairs. So I've already got my new studio room picked out if we go with this one. And that's this shot right here. So this is the downstairs second bedroom, and also has a bathroom attached and a couple other interesting things. We're going to quickly do some edits. This is not for publication. This is not for a realtor. This was for our own benefit so that we could take a look at it afterward. And also so I could have a little fun doing this video with you. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just popping right over into the develop module of Lightroom, and we're looking at the color casting here. It's a little off for sure. We've got some warm tones, we've got some cool tones, and in the end, like I said, since this isn't a professional one, not being done for a client, I don't care too much. Normally, if we're doing the client work, I like to shoot raw images, and I like to use the multi-bracketing that comes on that comes with the Ricoh Theta Z1. And you can see my multi-bracketing video up in the top corner. You'll see a little drop down. You can go check that out. But for this one, I'm going to grab the white balance tool. Let's just go over here and maybe, yeah, that cooled it off a little bit. The warmth of the light coming through the bathroom area, not as warm anymore. And I'm just going to call this one good enough in my mind. We're going to do some other things with this shortly. So pretty much satisfied with that one. Once again, it's not going to a client. All right, going into this room, the bathroom and the washer and dryer room, definitely warm, and it's also got a little other color cast. I'm going to borrow the front of this dryer here, and let's see how that does. That did a nice job. Still got some weird yellows going on in here, so I'm just scrolling on down to saturation, and let's take some of those yellows out, shall we? And maybe a little bit of the, we've got some pink and reds going on out there. So maybe I'll take that. Oh, that's not really affecting much, is it, that red? So let's put that one back, and we'll leave that way. Let me grab our little tool here for saturation. Let's drop that down. So it's dropping some oranges for me and some reds. And maybe I'm over color correcting this one a little bit. It's not that super white in there, so maybe let's put that back. Let's put that back, and we'll actually keep that. But as you can see out here, look at the tint here. We could drop that down a little more. We could actually go back up and take some of that pink out of there. But when we did that, notice it starts affecting these again. So maybe I'll scrap this, reset. And these don't take too long to edit, so that's okay. So I grabbed that, I'm satisfied. I want to take some of that yellow down again. There we go. And maybe we'll just chalk that up to the colors out there. Like I said, this is just for demo purposes with you, so I'm just going through all of these pretty quickly. And if you spend a little more time, you can get these polished up a little better. So I just grabbed the white balance tool and put it right here. So that's looking all right. I don't think I'm going to mess with too much more. We got a little bit of that yellow cast in there again. So maybe we come down. Let's see what that does. That actually does a nicer job. Maybe take that orange down a bit too. All right, looking a little better to me. I've definitely made it a little more white than it really is down there. This is an older home, so, and while they painted it and stuff, there still always seems to be a warmer cast. All right, just jumping over to the next one. The upstairs living room, not too bad. Do we really need to mess with the white balance here? I'm not quite sure. Let's do that. Drop the temperature just a little bit, and tint was heading more toward the green side. I'm going to go ahead and accept this. By the way, one of the things that you're probably noticing on the edge of the images is the little footy for the monopod, so we're going to get rid of that after. I promise. All right, so over to the next one. Kind of satisfied. The one thing I might want to do here, since we've got this window, can we recover some of that window? Look at that, dropping the highlights down sure did a nice job. We still have a bit of a cast in here. Let's go over here, and yeah, barely anything, so we don't need to cool this one down, and maybe we'll push the exposure up just a bit. All right, but I like getting that detail through the window. Once again, as I said, I'm doing these really, really fast, just because I want to show you a couple other things afterward. I'm going to grab that tool again, and let's just check right in here. And we can have some warmth out in that hallway area. So one of the mistakes, there's the realtor talking to Jody. With that in mind, I'd like to remove the realtor after, and we're going to do that live together. So this is going to be pretty cool when we do this. And the whole reason I'm really doing this one is I wanted to show off something new here, and that is Affinity Photo. And we're also going to mention Photoshop after too, because a lot of this can be done in Photoshop. But so I'm just doing this little quick thing in here, and got kind of a green tint in there. What happens if I do the white balance in there? Whoa, terrible idea. That was an awful idea. Let me grab that white balance tool again, and let's use that microwave. So we've got some warmth in here. We've got some green cast going on in there, and I don't like that either. I'm just going to hit reset because, once again, we're playing around here together. So, all right, so we still have that bit of green cast in there. What if I went down to the saturation and pulled the greens out? Does that really affect much? It's not affecting too much. How about the aquas? Okay, taking that down, and look at that. That looks a lot better in there. Let's just do a quick comparison, and let's zoom in. So definitely greener with a little aqua, and we've taken that out, and we haven't really harmed much else. All right, I'm going to hit the G key here for my grid view again. And so we went through these really, really fast. Every single one of them, notice down at the bottom of the screen, we've got that little, we've got the little foot for the monopod. Once again, still don't like that pink color cast, but we're gonna go ahead and soldier on here because we're just going through these real fast. And I'm gonna say that I'm okay with even the brightness. Maybe each of these could be brightened a little more. I don't know how it's translating. I'm looking over on the OBS screen, and maybe these are a little darker than I like them. So I could go back through here, and maybe in the develop module, let's punch each of those up just a little bit on exposure, shall we? All right, right about there. We'll do plus 25. Let's look at the next one, and we'll do the exposure. We don't want to blow the walls off here, but maybe right about there. And I'm just watching the histogram as I'm doing this. All right, so we've brightened that up a little bit, introducing a little more light to it, and also checking on the other screen. That's looking pretty good in here. All right, once again, we're doing this quick, and it's still gonna be a longer video because when you're doing edits, it's always a longer video. So I did push that up a bit in that room, and we're gonna leave that one alone. Let's check this one. It's looking pretty bright in here, but we'll move it up a little more. Actually, these images are making it look even less lived in for me. So definitely an older home is definitely a nice place, and sure hoping that it'll come through for us. So we should know that by the end of next week. Okay, grid key. All I did was we did 7 quick images. Now there's a couple of things I can do. I can go edit these in Photoshop and get rid of that little footy from the monopod, or I can also try them in Affinity Photo. So I've had several students on my other channels and other subscribers here ask me, hey, have you done anything with Affinity Photo? I'm still going to recommend over and over again. I don't work for Adobe or anything, but the Photoshop and Lightroom subscription package just isn't that bad. And if you're doing drone work or doing real estate work, you've got to have these tools. Lightroom is fantastic for managing, and then Photoshop, you know, it's the editor that's been around forever. I know there's a lot of other editors out there, and in 2021, we're going to talk more about some of those editors, as well as building our drone businesses and our drone images. So we're gonna go a little more imaging heavy. Once again, on this one, you know, I've cut it pretty short on super fast edits, just because we have so many to work with here that it's going to take a few minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these, and I'm going to go ahead and do an export here really quick. So once again, these images out of the Ricoh Theta Z1 in its HDR mode, they all come in as JPEGs, okay? So on my full-size panos, I've got this export set up where I'm going to export it to my desktop and then a folder called full-sized panos. I'm going to scroll down here. So I've got them in JPEG format, and I don't do any other resizing or anything, but we do set it to 240 instead of 300 DPI. You know, all this stuff online, you don't need to have a lot of DPI. You're not doing prints. Since these hosting services offer us a lot more hosting space for our 360s, we can go ahead and utilize that. So I'm going to go down to export, and I'd already exported these before, but what I'm going to do is overwrite all of them, because I checked these out very quickly after getting home from the house tour. And so I was just playing around with them beforehand, and then I said, let's go ahead and do a video instead. All right. So I've exported these, and right up here in the upper left corner, it says that it's done. I'm going to go ahead and turn off Lightroom Classic for the moment, just so that things aren't so slow on here, because I've got multiple programs running in the background. Whenever I do live streams or I do videos, that happens. And I'm going to go ahead and close Photoshop as well. Now, I did run into an interesting problem with Photoshop, and I'm going to talk about that in an upcoming video. A very unique issue. But what I have found, looking at Affinity and Photoshop, did you know that you can actually look at your 360 panos live in Photoshop or in Affinity Photo? If you're like me, you didn't really know that. So usually when I go to see what my 360s look like, I'll either upload them to the 360 service that I'm hosting with, or I'll use Piano 2 VR, and I'll show you that in a moment. Once, as we can see here, Photoshop is hanging up on me, so I'm going to force quit it. I don't have anything in it. Sometimes that gets really annoying, and this will be for the later video. Okay, so let's see here. We did full-size panos, and I'm just grabbing that screen so that you can see, and we could actually take a quick preview of each of these if we want to. So just opening it up, there we go. That's that image from the downstairs room. That would most likely be the new studio. I'm just going to pull this folder over to the right-hand side onto my other screen, and I'm going to launch Affinity Photo. So I've had people over the past couple months, some people are not too hip with subscription services. I get that. And so I've had people saying, hey, what have you done with Affinity Photo, Rich? My answer was very little. Well, for Black Friday, they had a good enough discount. I think it was $34.99 to purchase Affinity Photo. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and grab this, and, you know, we can do some comparisons now and again. Like I said, normally I'm, using Photoshop and Lightroom for almost everything. But when it comes to these 360s, in the end, I don't really manage too many of them afterward, because once we've built the 360 walkthroughs or the 360 aerials and I get them online, I go ahead and get rid of the originals, because I'm not using them for much. And most people, if you're building 360s, you're not emailing them to a friend for them to check out. You need to have it on one of these cloud services, or you need to create a package for them. So Affinity Photo has come up now, and all I'm going to do, let's go ahead and close that Affinity Photo window. And so here's that folder again. We're just going to drag that first one over here. So I'm just dragging it right into Affinity. And there we go. So we could edit in here, and this might look very much like Photoshop, right? We've got adjustments, we've got layers, effects, style, stock. We have our layers, and right now the only layer we have is that background layer. And actually, this wall looks a little too warm to me, doesn't it? We could even edit in here. But the thing that caught my attention with Affinity Photo, after everyone was suggesting I try it out, was the live 360 view. So I really am in love with this. So if I go up to layer and I go down to live projection, we can actually do the equirectangular projection. We can see this operating as a 360 instead of this big elongated image. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that. And when I do, look at this. I can pan around in here. And so, like I said, normally I am either uploading to my service provider. So I do my edits with the elongated image. So that's normally what I do. And then, the final export I send on to the service we use, which is Kula, or you could do Cloud Pano or Theasis or any of those. But this is awesome being able to move around in here. So it's a desktop solution. I just wanted to go down to show you. I'm just looking for Pano. There we go. Pano 2 VR. So I do not have the paid for version. I have the trial version, but I was dropping images into this just so I could see them as true 360s. So I was using that, but then I found out, I've known for a while Photoshop does the spherical image as well, but that's going to be in the next video. I'm going to talk to you about some problems I've had with it. But so this one, I can not only scroll around, I hope I'm not making you seasick, I'll stop doing that to you. You see this right here? There's 2 of the 3 legs of my monopod. And over on the left-hand side, I'm going to get the in-painting brush tool. And I'm just going to do this. Look at that. So we just basically cloned that away. And so in the upper left corner, when I change back to my little arrow key, look at this, Edit Live Projection. So I just hit Edit Live Projection again, and there's my little pinwheel of doom. All right, but the pinwheel is done, and we got rid of that monopod footer. So that is pretty cool here. Looking really good, much better. We got rid of that area. So I'm pretty satisfied with this one. So I would like to now save that. So if I go back up to that layer, Live Projection, and now let's remove the projection. So we're waiting for that little pinwheel of doom again. There it goes, and now we're back to normal. And by the way, look down at the bottom here, would you? The feet for the monopod are gone. So I actually got to edit this live. Pretty awesome. I'm still incredibly new to Affinity Photo. It looks and feels a lot like Photoshop. We've got a lot of the same tools, which is fantastic. But so I'm still learning my way through this one. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to hit Command S for saving this. And let's make sure, let's just go down here. All right, so we've saved it. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And let's grab that folder with those full-sized panos. And I'm going to open the first one because that's the one that we just worked on. And sure enough, it has removed that for me. So I think that one is ready to go live. But before we do anything else, let's go through the rest. And we're going to go through a little faster now. So I hope that's not too painful for you. But there we go again. I can see the feet of the monopod. So I'm just going to quickly go up to that layer again. Live projection. Equirectangular. And sure enough, we can move around in here. We didn't get the monopod or the Ricoh Theta Z1 in the mirror, so good job on us. And looking down at the bottom, there's that monopod, so I'm just going to go grab that tool again here. And so that's the in-painting brush, and we're just going to do that. Removed it, and now I'm going to grab my arrow key up in the upper left corner again, edit that live projection. And now we're just waiting for it to catch up with us. And now we can move around in here again. Also, in the upper left corner, when we're doing that projection, look, the heading changes, pitch changes, and we could zoom that field of view way in, or zoom that field of view way out. So I'm liking that a lot. So we're going to go ahead and call this one ready for prime time as well. Let's go up to that layer. Let's go back down to remove the projection. And so let's say you were doing a job for a real estate client. They didn't want the highest end version possible, so you weren't worried about the multi-bracketing or anything. The Theta Z1's HDR mode is pretty darn good, actually. Especially, you know, these were darker rooms. These are in the downstairs area. But it did a great job for me. So if you've got a realtor or another client who says, I just want a quick 360 tour, you know, they don't want to mess around with a lot of extra features, but they'd like something to show people through a space, then, you know, that automatic HDR tool might be a great way to go. So I'm going to go back up here, close that again. I don't know all the shortcut keys on Affinity yet, so that's one of my problems. I'm just dragging the next one in. There's the little feet again, so let's go ahead, get up to that layer, equirectangular again. So you're getting the idea here, I'm sure. So I'm going to look right down there. There's that monopod foot again. It's just doing the in-painting brush. It does a really good job of sampling. Okay, we got a little bite out of the floor there. That's not going to hurt my feelings too much since we know that we're doing this pretty darn quickly. All right, just waiting on the layer one more time. Let's go back on down there, live projection. Let's go ahead and remove that projection. So I have had a lot of people say, hey, how do you get rid of the foot on your tripod or your monopod? And there's several different ways. I'm having fun with this particular method right now because it's something that was a little unexpected to me. You know, there's one thing, we all do learn something new every day. All right, hitting close on that one. And I'm just going to go through all of these. Yeah, and pretty satisfied with that one. Looks a little darker on the other screen, but we're going to go ahead and go with it. So that layer again. Let's get that projection. Let's take a look down at the floor. Sure enough, let's make sure that's gone. All right. And let's go down live projection, remove it. So you can bounce back and forth between that live projection. The other thing that you should take note of is the fact that you can do other edits on that live projection. So you could pop up a title here if you wanted to, and then merge it on down afterward. So actually, let's go ahead and close that one. I'll go ahead and save it first. And let's drag another one in here. But yeah, you can do additional edits on that live projection and then merge your layers down and add some things in. So if you wanted to put your own text into areas, you absolutely can. Now let's go ahead and fix this one again. Live projection. There we go. And go right on down to the floor one more time. So we're almost done with these. Sorry for taking a little extra time, but I always, you know, when we're doing edits and things, I like to show you everything that's going on and not jump past things. So let's go back down there, remove the projection. Making our way through these pretty quick. We got 2 more to go. All right, looking good. Just going to hit that Command S to save. And then we'll go up and close that one. There we go. And let's grab up the next one, shall we? But yeah, this live projection's been great because normally what I'd been doing for the longest time, I do most of my editing in Lightroom, and then we'd actually put a banner down on the floor. So we'd have a little circular banner here with our company name, which is another thing you can do. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So let's just brush that out. See how good of a job it does with those little tiles there. Not bad. You can see where it bit out part of the tile, but most people aren't going to look down at the floor on these things anyways. So, you know, 90% of the people who are popping through your tours aren't going to be scrutinizing, hey, Rich, you missed that little edge on the tile. Look at that. That's all gone. So I'm just hitting the Command S again. And then we'll close it again. So yeah, I got to find that quick close key. I know somebody in comments will point out exactly where it is within moments for me. And I'll tell you up front, I appreciate your assistance. All right, there we go with the new projection again. Once again, there it is. Grabbing the same tool one more time. All right. And let's see. Yeah, I took a little bite out of these again. Still not offensive to me. So let's go back to the projection, remove it. And like I said, you can also do additional editing in here, and you can do the same thing with Photoshop too. So if you wanted to put labels on things, oh, there's the realtor. Actually, let's go ahead and let's see if we can kindly brush the realtor out without major destruction. Let's see what that looks like. That didn't do a bad job. I can see some problems in there. Let's go over to the area. Oh yeah, you know what? Command Z. I don't want to eradicate the realtor that much. And since we're just doing this one as a quick for show, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this either. So we'll go ahead and save this as it is. We're going to leave the realtor in there. If you are interested in seeing more edits of things, edits of 360s in Affinity, let me know down in the comments, and then we could do a longer one where we're correcting things like forgetting to ask people, hey, could you move for just a moment, please? All right, just saving that really quick. And then we'll close it. And actually, I'm going to minimize Affinity. We're just going to grab that folder over here. So we did all these edits together. Just want to open it up. Sure enough, the monopod feet are gone. So let's just check each of these, shall we? All right. Looking good. Looking good. So no major problems here. Maybe it is a little too dark still. Maybe I should have brightened those just a little more. The second monitor that I'm looking over to my right at, that monitor is showing things just a little darker. That's one of the fun things. This is also going to depend whenever people are viewing your stuff online. You don't know what their monitor settings are at all. You don't know if they've got, too much contrast going on. There's a lot of different things going on with the newest TVs and the newest monitors these days. And, so many things that you can do to change the colors on your monitor, on your televisions. And then when someone comes along with a color calibrated monitor and they're doing all their work and they present it on your screen, it doesn't look the way they wanted it to, but not everyone has color calibrated monitors going on. All right. So let me take a look down here really quick, and I'm just moving one more of my folders. But so very easily and very quickly with Affinity Photo, not only could we go in and do some edits, we could actually see what our 360 is going to look like. So for me, that's pretty awesome. As I said, normally, oh, and by the way, I've got this panel up. We're going to talk about it in an upcoming video that I'll probably record today. But I've had some problems with Photoshop's live 360 editing mode. And I'm going to share that with you in the next video so that you can see what's going on with that and what the problem is. Then I was also just trying to figure out something with sRGB because I thought that had something to do with the Photoshop problem. All right, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to Cooler really quick. There we go. And I'm going to move this off screen for a moment so I can put in my login and password and sign in. There we go. All right, so I'm just dragging this back over now. Nothing personal. I just don't want to share my login ID and password. All right, I'm going to make a new tour. So normally what I would do is after we get all of our editing done in Lightroom and maybe some light editing in Photoshop is I would export images for Kula for uploading. So I would, once I'm finished up with everything in Lightroom, I would export those final images and then I would upload them to Kula. I'm going to create a tour here, and this is Affinity and Z1 test editing. And I'm going to make sure that this is not set to public after. So this is just me testing things out. And now I'm going to select some images. So I need to minimize that because I closed that screen. Too many monitors sometimes, right? All right. So all set to go. Let's drag these images in. As you can see, Kula's message, it would like to have JPEGs or PNGs. And so we're going to give it some JPEGs. So that Affinity Photo's live 360 view gives me a really nice self-check to see, all right, is the seam line okay? Is everything else looking good to me? So I can actually move around in that 360 space, make some adjustments, and then I could actually go ahead and upload them to Kula like I'm doing here right now. So these are all set. So over here, I'm going to hit the post button, and then that's going to bring us into the tour. So, and we're starting out in the downstairs studio room. And if you'd also like, we can do a full video on putting things into Kula, labeling things, and creating your walkthrough, both an indoor walkthrough and an outdoor walkthrough. For regular subscribers and visitors to this channel, I've done a lot of outdoor ones as well with my drones, the Mavic and the Mavic 2 Pro. And yeah, this is looking pretty good to me. Let's take a look at that floor. Do we even notice where the 3 little feet went to? No, we don't. So what I could do, this is the entrance into the bathroom and the washroom, so we could put a click through here and then take a look inside that bathroom. But instead, I'm just going to click into it. So now we're in the bathroom, so we can get a look around and okay looking shower, a couple of places to hang your towels, looking good. And then we've got an older washer and dryer. Oh, well, what are you going to do? Okay, let's head back out and let's get to the stairs. So here's the door to the garage. Let's zoom that back a little bit. Definitely a little over zoomed in. The stairs going up to the upstairs living room looks pretty good to me. And then the studio room and that bath. All right. Okay, now upstairs living room here, or is this the living room or is this, oh, nope, this is the other bedroom. So there we go. So I got into that bedroom, a little bit of closet space. The closet space was at a premium in this place, I'll tell you what. And so let's actually go take a look into the smaller bathroom, which connects out to the kitchen and the living room. And once again, there's the realtor. So, if I was actually presenting this in a serious way, I would go through and do these corrections. Also, I wouldn't have used the auto HDR mode. I would absolutely have shifted over to the multi-bracketing because that's one of the most powerful features of the Theta Z1 and why it's a great 360 camera. All right, so now let's come out of here. Did I miss one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I didn't. Okay, I see the one that I think we jumped past. So there's that realtor again. And let's take a look. So there's the living room. It's looking back to the bedroom. Bathroom is also hidden back there. Kitchen area. And chairs that we definitely don't want to hang on to. So looking really good from a quick edit perspective. Like I said, this would be if a realtor said to me, I just really want a quick one to give people an idea of the flow of the home, then maybe I'd be using that HDR mode. But if they wanted to take a few moments and really have a polished looking 360 tour, then I would say to them, you know what, we're going to take a few more minutes. We're going to do the bracketing and we'll get everybody out of the house so that we don't accidentally include someone who thinks they're hiding behind the wall when they're not hiding behind the wall. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this one. In the next video that we do on the Theta Z1 editing, we're going to take these same images. We're going to pop them over into Photoshop. We're going to actually launch them from Lightroom into Photoshop. We're going to go into the live 3D editing style mode in Photoshop, and I'm going to show you the thing that I've been running into that's making me want to pull my hair out. Because once I figured out how easy this is with Affinity Photo for doing simple edits live to your 360s, I said, I've got to go try that on Photoshop now. And when I went and did it with Photoshop, I ran into some problems. And then not only did I run into problems, but I went out on Google, I did a search on the issue I was having. And it sounds like a bunch of other people are having the same issue too. And I didn't quite find a good resolution. So we'll talk about that in the next video. So we'll see you in that one. Have an awesome day.